Anyone who's been a goblin knows this. Goblins aren't just ugly. They're also extremely greedy and lustful. Even the mother of Ultra would trigger red alerts. But you, a top-tier assassin, find yourself reincarnated after death as a goblin spawn. The one who just gave birth to you is a beautiful white-haired elf. Though childbirth has drained all her strength, in her hazy eyes, fear and disgust fill her gaze toward you. If not for her weak body, she would strangle the child before her. But you remain completely unaware. Instead, you open your blurry eyes to see a beautiful white-haired elf. Is that your mother? Before you can think further, another goblin spawn born alongside you moves at incredible speed, lunging toward your mother, ready to enjoy the feast before it. This is suicide. Almost the instant this thought flashes through your mind, your body pounces. The goblin pinned beneath you struggles desperately, so relying on your past life's assassin instincts, you grab a nearby rock and smash it down on the goblin's neck. Perhaps because you're newborn, it's not a one-hit kill. So without hesitation, you strike again. The goblin struggles a few times, then falls completely still. At this moment, the system voice echoes in your mind. Congratulations. By killing your own kind at birth, you've gained the skill Devour. Killing one of your kind grants 1 point of strength, but you ignore this voice, looking straight at the white-haired elf in the corner. This innate sense of closeness makes you ask involuntarily, "Are you my mother?" However, this hoarse, unpleasant voice frightens the elf, making her retreat repeatedly, but her reaction doesn't affect you. You touch the umbilical cord, connecting you, revealing a strange smile. "I really am your child." But at this moment, a goblin's spawn quietly approaches, suddenly attacking you. The white-haired elf sees this, almost instinctively reaching out to shield you in her embrace. With a bang, the fist lands on the white-haired elf. She immediately coughs up blood, making her already weak body even worse. At this moment, the white-haired elf doesn't know why she's protecting you. Perhaps to repay something, or perhaps this child is her only comfort in this hellish den. Suddenly being held in your mother's arms, you feel happy. This warm feeling is something you, raised as an assassin from childhood, have never experienced before, but a drop of red liquid brings you back to your senses. So you look up and see your mother with blood at the corner of her mouth. Instantly, an unprecedented rage surges straight to your heart. At this moment, a goblin spawn chatters away, as if asking you why you're protecting that woman. Though you don't know why you can understand their language, you don't care. You grab the rock and smash it down. After that mysterious voice sounded, your strength increased, making it easier to crush the goblin's skull before you as it falls to the ground, struggling continuously. But as an assassin, once you strike, you must take the target's life until the system voice sounds again. You slowly stop your attack. Congratulations on killing a goblin spawn. Based on the Devour skill effect, you've gained 1 point of speed. You swiftly dealt with one first, shocking all the goblin spawns directly. Though they're naturally brutal, they've never seen a scene like this. Even the white-haired elf beside you is shocked, speechless by your actions and strength. Does a newborn goblin spawn really possess such strength and speed? And that ruthlessness and decisiveness toward enemies? Even experienced adventurers couldn't achieve this. If this is all pure instinct, it's terrifying. And this is her own child. A strange, complex emotion wells up in the white-haired elf's mind. Should she feel fortunate or fearful? But you don't notice her gaze. Instead, you stand up from the ground, wiping the blood from your face. But at this moment, one goblin spawn is first to recover from shock, letting out an angry cry at you. But almost simultaneously, you, with enhanced speed, whoosh, instantly appearing behind it. Before it can react, the rock in your hand, already stained with blood, strikes down hard on the back of its skull. Due to the boost in speed and strength, plus your precise grasp of vulnerable spots, this attack kills instantly. Then you hear the system voice. Congratulations on killing a goblin spawn. Based on the Devour skill effect, you've gained 1 point of strength. As your strength increases again, you feel nothing, because right now you have only one thought. Kill all these creatures trying to defile and harm your mother. With 2 of their kind dead in succession, the many goblin spawns react, all launching attacks at you. Seeing this, the elves who just gave birth around the room huddle in corners, trembling, watching the children they bore kill each other. They have no intention of helping. Only resentment and rage fill them. They wish all these monsters would die. Even so, it wouldn't ease the hatred in their hearts. Looking at the countless goblin spawns charging at you, there's no panic in your eyes. Only cold, suffocating killing intent. As for fear, you've never felt it, because as an assassin, from birth, such emotions were erased from you. Moreover, now your speed and strength are enhanced, plus your past life skills as a top assassin. These newborn spawns can't handle you. Under your control, the rock becomes a tool of slaughter. With precise strike after strike, you smash enemy heads one after another. Those goblin spawns can't even see you before falling one by one, becoming nourishment for your growth. Meanwhile, the system voice continuously echoes in your mind. Congratulations on killing a goblin spawn. You've gained 1 point of strength, 1 point of speed, 1 point of constitution. After killing the 10th one, there's no need to dodge anymore, because after more than 10 enhancements, enhancements, you and these newborn spawns have a decisive gap between you. It's complete one-sided slaughter. One goblin spawn, seeing its kind continuously falling before its eyes, finally realizes the difference in power and starts fleeing in all directions. One goblin spawn even hides behind its own mother, using her as a threat to keep you away. The woman, seeing the terrifying you slowly walking toward her, begins to plead desperately. Perhaps seeing your mother's shadow in this woman, you stop your steps. The goblin spawn behind her, seeing you stop, thinks itself clever and grabs the woman's hair, starting to shout arrogantly. The pain makes the woman realize the one in front is a goblin. Isn't the one behind also a goblin? Remembering those nightmarish days, overwhelming hatred for goblins surges in her heart. So the weak woman cries out, "Kill it! Kill me too, please!" The woman's helpless, desperate pleading resonates with the other women present. "Kill these beasts! Kill me! Weak, please!" echo through this foul-smelling place. At this moment, you seem like a hero to these women, but it doesn't change the deep hatred for goblins in their eyes. Pleading voices, fragile condemnations, are met only with the goblin spawn's laughter. It grips its mother's hair tightly, then slowly peeks out, wanting to see the previously arrogant you. But what it sees is a rock flying straight at its face. With a whoosh, the goblin spawn, hiding behind the woman, has its head explode like a tomato on the spot. The system voice sounds again. "Congratulations! By killing dozens of your kind in the newborn stage, you've achieved the impossible. You're now granted the exclusive skill predation. Your lower skill devour has been integrated into your exclusive skill predation. At this moment, you clearly feel your body changing. Even your blurry vision becomes somewhat clearer now. The white-haired elf who witnessed this entire slaughter is completely stunned. Is this her child? Even a demon wouldn't continuously slaughter dozens of its own kind right after birth, would it? The white-haired elf is completely confused. Even in her long memory, she's never heard of such a thing existing. Feeling your body's changes stop, you slowly open your eyes. At this moment, aside from you, only two goblins remain. They look at you in terror, as if begging for mercy, kneeling on the ground, kowtowing continuously, attempting to gain your mercy with such a humble posture. But they've used this tactic on the wrong person. In your eyes, once an assassination target is confirmed, nothing can sway you until the target is dead, so you raise the rock without hesitation. But just as it's about to fall, the goblin spawn's humble face suddenly shows a vicious, triumphant smile. After a shriek, its entire body turns black, merging directly into the shadows. When it reappears, it's already behind you, extending its claws towards you. Your mother sees this and shouts for you to be careful, but almost simultaneously, you strike back, smashing the rock directly on its head. Even without your mother's warning, you wouldn't fall for such crude assassination tactics. As the goblin's corpse falls, the familiar system voice follows. "Congratulations on killing a goblin spawn. Based on the predation skill effect, you've acquired its skill shadow step." Hearing this, you remain indifferent, instead focusing your gaze on the last goblin spawn. But at this moment, the old wooden door creaks open. Two adult goblins walk in. Behind them follows a goblin priest holding a staff. After they enter the room, a strong, bloody smell hits them. Then they see a shocking scene. The room originally used for breeding has nearly become a morgue. Spawn corpses lie scattered all over the floor. At first, the goblin priest thinks the breeding slaves did this, but when he looks at those hiding in corners, trembling women, he immediately dismisses this idea. Setting aside whether post-birth pain would give these slaves the strength to act, he placed curses on these women, so they couldn't possibly have the strength to harm their precious goblin spawns. But at this moment, a shout attracts their attention. In a hidden corner, two goblin spawns still survive, but something seems off. The standing goblin spawn is raising a blood-stained rock. About to strike, the other spawn collapsed on the ground. The goblin priest is first to notice something wrong, shouting, "Stop!" The adult goblin beside him immediately springs into action upon hearing this. Seeing this, you speed up your movements. But as a spawn, how can you match an adult goblin? Just as the rock is about to strike, a large hand swats the rock away. Another goblin tries to grab your foot, but you dodge directly, then with an aerial strike, kick the airborne rock. The rock shoots at incredible speed, piercing the spawn's left eye, making it roll on the ground in agony. Such impressive combat technique stuns the goblin coming to catch you on the spot. Is this really a newborn spawn? Even experienced old goblins probably couldn't do this. After landing, seeing the goblin spawn isn't dead, you decide without hesitation to finish it off immediately. The adult goblin beside you sees this, quickly reacts, trying to grab you, but a handful of sand flies from your palm, directly blocking its vision. Then, a rock, precisely, lands on an adult goblin's eye. Accompanied by its miserable screams, you've already reached the goblin spawn. But just as you're about to succeed, the silent goblin priest acts. The staff that's been charging emits a faint green glow. Then countless vines sprout from the ground, binding you in midair before you can react. Unable to move, you look at the vines restraining you, eyes full of confusion. Where did these plants come from? Why are they moving? Why are they wrapping around you? This phenomenon defying logic puzzles you greatly, so your gaze shifts from the vines to the goblin priest holding the staff. At this moment, on his staff, a faint green glow still emanates. After seeing you bound, the adult goblin slowly approaches. Holding a wooden stick, face vicious, he strikes down at you bound by vines, wanting to kill the goblin spawn that blinded his eye. But at this moment, the white-haired elf suddenly rushes from the corner, embracing you. You, who were struggling fiercely, freeze upon feeling your mother's warmth. This feeling is gentle, making you unconsciously relax. But just as the stick is about to fall, a loud shout suddenly stops the goblin. So he looks displeasedly at the priest who stopped him. "Why are you stopping me?" He slaughtered dozens of our kind. But the goblin priest responds indifferently. "I've already notified the commander. The life and death of this goblin spawn is for the commander to decide." Then he walks to the dying spawn and begins healing its wounds. Fortunately, only the left eye is blind. A bit more and the little one would be dead. Upon hearing commander, the adult goblin grips his wooden stick tighter. No matter how angry he is, he doesn't dare do anything to you. The goblin commander is the leader of this goblin den, the supreme existence commanding tens of thousands of goblins. If anyone dares disobey his orders, his subordinates will swarm them without him lifting a finger. Moreover, he respects the commander. It's because of the commander's leadership that they've grown from a small tribe to their current scale. But respect aside, he still can't calm the rage in his heart, so his gaze falls on your mother holding you. Then greed shows clearly in his eyes. Such a beautiful elf. He can't resist. Seeing the goblin slowly approaching, the white-haired elf's body trembles continuously. This immediately brings you back to your senses. Someone's coveting your mother again. The rage in your heart ignites once more. Seeing your expression, the adult goblin laughs triumphantly. He glances at the priest behind him, finding no interference, so he slowly approaches your mother. But at this moment, a rock grazes his scalp. One of your hands is broken free from the vines, but your whole body still hangs from the vines. Seeing you dare act so arrogantly while trapped, the adult goblin rages, losing his composure, swinging his fist at you. But the next moment, his fist misses. Having broken free from the vines, you're already at his side. So the goblin swings his other hand, but you dodge it skillfully and seize the opportunity to grab his arm. Then with force, your whole body spins. Then a crisp crack sounds. In less than 3 moves, you've directly dislocated the adult goblin's arm. Under intense pain, the adult goblin rolls on the ground in agony. The other adult goblin can't watch anymore and steps forward, raising his stone axe. Just as he's about to strike, a solemn stop makes him freeze, because that's the commander's voice. Then a massive goblin, larger than an adult, full of muscles, wearing armor with a scar on his face, walks in slowly with endless authority. The 2 adult goblins immediately kneel, recounting your brutality and ruthlessness, saying you've harmed dozens of their kind right after birth. Such a menace absolutely cannot be kept. But the commander merely glances at these 2 subordinates, raising his hand to interrupt them, indicating that being beaten this badly by a spawn, they actually have the nerve to complain. Then he has the goblin priest explain what happened. After hearing the full story, the commander's gaze falls on you protecting your mother. He seems to see something, a trace of shock flashing in his eyes, though quickly concealed. So he asks calmly, "You're the one who killed these spawns?" The commander's eyes stare intently at you, as if trying to see something. But you only stand protecting your mother, without speaking, because you can feel the goblin before you is powerful. So powerful that even you at your peak in your past life would need to be careful. But at this moment, the goblin priest steps forward, indicating it's normal for spawns not to speak. They need to reach the growth stage before normal communication begins. However, your exceptional talents seem to have made them overlook that you're still a spawn. Hearing this, the goblin commander suddenly understands, immediately saying they'll wait until you can speak. At these words, all the goblins' mouths drop open. Is this still their decisive commander? Encountering such a goblin spawn, no matter how capable, it shouldn't be kept. But the commander's sharp gaze immediately silences the 2 adult goblins. Even if they have opinions, it's not about the commander, but about you. However, they make up their minds to wait until you reach the growth stage to eliminate you. But you don't care about their malice. Instead, you're thinking what the success rate would be if you were to eliminate this goblin commander. But for some reason, you suddenly feel a splitting headache. At this moment, the goblin priest asks the commander how to handle the spawn before them. The commander looks at you, silent for a moment, then tells the priest to proceed as usual. Then he leads the soldiers out of the cave. Perhaps sensing no more danger or having reached your physical limit, you collapse directly. After all, just born without eating anything, and experiencing such intense battle, no one could endure it. But in your daze, you feel familiar warmth, so following instinct, you latch on. At this moment, your mother holds you, tears welling up again in her eyes, already cried dry. Then she murmurs, "Don't die. Don't leave me alone in this dark den again." On the other side, the goblin priest following the commander asks puzzled, facing such an anomaly that attacks its own kind at birth, shouldn't we kill it? As if fearing the commander's anger, the goblin priest adds, "I'm not questioning your decision. I just don't think we need this kind of kin." Hearing the goblin priest's words, the commander stops, glances back at him, then says calmly, "I saw the qualification in that boy. The qualification to become king." Hearing this, the goblin priest is greatly shocked. This means the child was was born with the royal mark. That's what all goblins dream of, because only beings with the royal mark can possess the qualification to become king. If other goblins knew about this forest would erupt in bloodshed again. Even some races, especially humans, would probably try every means to kill that spawn. After all, a race with a king versus one without is like heaven and earth. Their goblins have always lacked a king, which is why they fall into this state. Thinking back, the Goblin Empire was so glorious. So right now, the spawn's matter must not be exposed, or it would be fatal extinction level damage to them. But after hesitating a moment, the goblin priest asks, what about the female elf who gave birth to the spawn? Logically, as the king's birth mother, she should receive the greatest respect from the entire race. But they're goblins. They have no concept of birth mothers, because females in their eyes are merely tools for breeding offspring. Most importantly, goblins have no females of their own, so they can only use females of other races to reproduce. This is also one reason the Goblin Empire fell, because they offended too many races. So whenever they appear, the first reaction is direct elimination. At this moment, the commander says without hesitation, eyes cold as king, naturally there's no need for such so-called creatures. But you seem quite dependent on that elf, wanting to protect her. All the more reason she can't stay, because kings cannot have weaknesses. However, after pondering a moment, the commander adds this matter isn't urgent, at least before you escape the infant stage. That elf still needs to play the mother's role well. The white-haired elf ultimately accepts your existence, carefully tending to your every need. After that day, you're brought to a room. Rather than a room, it's more like a prison. Inside iron cages made of metal, elf maidens are imprisoned. Goblin soldiers are stationed on both sides of the corridor, and after these elves enter, they're cursed with a spell to prevent them from strangling goblin spawns, while also bewitching their minds to make them care for the spawns. Goblins have a short growth cycle, only 3 months to end the spawn stage, then entering the growth stage. This is why the goblin race can rapidly reproduce and spread across the continent. Over a month later, you've grown considerably taller. In the days that follow, the white-haired elf continues caring for you, doing everything a mother should, and you, as her child, naturally enjoy it all. Though this body is weak, its growth and recovery speed exceed your imagination. There's even a mysterious force transforming your body, and before your eyes, something constantly hovers, displaying your attributes, along with talents and skills. But immersed in your mother's embrace, you have no time at all to think about what this is. To please your mother, you start learning to babble, clumsily calling out mother. Your mother only wipes the tears from her eyes, then gently strokes you. But you can sense that as time passes, she's growing increasingly afraid of something. But at this moment, several goblins suddenly appear, wanting to take away the woman in the cage across from you. The woman seems to know what being taken by these goblins means. She curls up in the corner, her body trembling continuously, repeating over and over, I don't want to, but it's not up to her. Several goblins walk into the cage, dragging her out directly. At this moment, your mother's body trembles, her eyes full of tears. So you peek out, asking her puzzled what's wrong. Because whenever this happens, your mother always holds you and cries. And this is already the 10th time this month. That woman just now is the second to last one here. You don't know what this means. You only know your mother seems afraid. The goblin beside you, hearing your words, suddenly laughs loudly, then says, of course it's because your mother will soon become our toy. Then he shows a disgusting smile. Hearing this, your mother seems to remember some terrible memory. She suddenly releases you, her eyes becoming hollow and empty, as if losing all hope of living for the future. She hugs her knees, tears streaming down. But at this moment, a small green hand clumsily strokes her head, making her emotions that were about to spiral out of control gradually calm down. The goblin outside the iron gate, seeing your mother's desperate expression, seems to enjoy it greatly. Finally, these goblins leave with the woman. No matter how you call, your mother seems like she's lost her soul, without any response. This darkens your expression instantly. Watching the departing goblins, you silently note this in your heart. At this moment, the goblin guard monitoring you taunts you displeasedly. You only have a few days left to enjoy. Hearing the goblin's words, your mother's shoulders tremble, the light in her eyes dimming further. You say nothing more, only gripping your mother's hand tightly. Night comes, because people were taken away. The guards here become sparse, but this place is deep in the den. Escaping is impossible for slaves. At least before this, no one has ever escaped. In the dim room, the white-haired elf closes her eyes tightly, traces of undried tears at the corners. At this moment, you, being held, open your eyes, then gently move, slipping out from your mother's embrace. Then your entire body merges into the shadows, leaving this place. Since recovering from injuries last time, you gained this strange ability, the skill shadow step, but it has many limitations. First, the teleport distance is short. Second, it only works in shadows. Most importantly, you can only teleport yourself, unable to carry extra things. Simply put, you can't carry objects exceeding your own weight. Therefore, you can't take your mother with you. Then, using shadow step, you easily leave the cage. Seeing only a few scattered goblins, relying on your past life's experience, you quickly evade their patrols. With this level of vigilance, the threat level is nearly 0 for you. Right now, you have only one goal, the goblin who insulted your mother this morning. After walking out, you discover this is a massive underground den, intricate like an ant colony. Without a guide, it's easy to get lost, but this isn't a problem for you. In the dim corridor, 2 goblins are eating something. Looking closely, it's actually human fingers. So while they're talking, a figure suddenly appears, landing on one goblin's neck. By the time it reacts, its neck is twisting. In just an instant, you efficiently finish one. Then the system voice echoes in your mind. Congratulations on killing an adult goblin. Based on the predation skill effect, you've acquired its talent self-recovery and gained 1 point of strength. Almost simultaneously, the other goblin reacts, raising its blade to slash down at you. So you sweep forcefully with your lower leg, directly making it lose its balance. Simultaneously, your knee strikes precisely on its neck. Then, at incredible speed, you destroy its throat, making it unable to make sounds while you quickly seize the blade from its hand. Then a flash of light, and the goblin's head separates from its body. Congratulations on killing an adult goblin. Based on the predation skill effect, you've acquired its talent self-recovery and gained 1 point of strength. Duplicate talent self-recovery detected, automatically integrated into talent regeneration. But you ignore the notification, swinging the blade in your hand, finding it quite suitable. So you fasten it at your waist. Then following the scent, you search again for the goblin that insulted your mother. Soon, relying on your talent skills, after assassinating multiple patrolling goblins, you finally find your target. At this moment, that goblin is attempting to assault a captured woman. It's only an attempt, because the woman has awakened and is desperately resisting. The human woman, Chris, looking at the vicious-faced goblin, shrinks fearfully in the corner, lamenting her terrible luck. Right now, for some reason, she can't use any of her strength, but as long as she recovers, leaving here wouldn't be a problem, because her class among humans is thief, and she's a top-tier existence among thieves, possessing max-level stealth skills. As for why she was caught by goblins, she has to blame those brainless companions who found some colorful fruits from somewhere. The colors looked pretty, but they turned out to be drugged. Everyone who ate them passed out on the spot without a sound. When she woke up, she was already here. Will she really have to spend the rest of her life here? She doesn't want to become a breeding machine for these ugly monsters. Watching the goblin slowly approaching her, Chris feels desperate. Right now, she truly hopes someone will rescue her. Even if it means pledging herself, she'd agree without hesitation. Just as the goblin looks lecherous, about to enjoy its feast, a cold light flashes. The next moment, the goblin's head separates from its neck, dropping to the ground with a whoosh. As the system voice sounds, it directly announces its death. Congratulations on killing an adult goblin. Based on the predation skill effect, you've acquired its talent power boost and gained 1 point of strength. This sequence of actions leaves Chris stunned. Only now does she react, looking at you standing in the corner. Such stealthy methods, she didn't even detect until just now. This is truly impressive. You should know her class among humans is a thief with maxed stealth skills, extremely skilled at concealing presence. Even though she's in poor condition now, she shouldn't be completely unable to detect anything. But such techniques are impossible for a newborn goblin to possess. As for talent skills, even if innate, so what? Without long practice, mastery is impossible. So in an instant, she realizes this must be a top expert from the Adventurers Guild, who, after receiving a mission, used skills to disguise as a goblin and infiltrate the den to gather intelligence. Otherwise, there's no way to explain such superior stealth techniques appearing on a goblin spawn. Thinking this, Chris can't help but admire. To eliminate goblins, to actually disguise oneself as such an ugly, evil spawn, this selfless dedication is truly admirable. In just an instant, Chris looks at you with respect. This makes you frown. You originally planned to kill the goblin and leave directly, but this person discovered your presence, just as you're considering killing her if she makes any move. You find she's looking at you with this strange gaze, so sensing no danger, you turn to leave. However, Chris realizes the expert is about to abandon this poor, helpless, beautiful girl, so she calls out to you without hesitation. Hearing the call, you stop. Then look at her with a puzzled expression. Chris seizes the opportunity to ask, "Could you please take me out?" But you act as if you can't hear, just walking forward on your own. So the anxious Chris directly grabs your hand, but at the same moment, a blade rests on her neck. Seeing this, Chris can only raise both hands, afraid the expert will strike her down. After seeing the woman before you has no more tricks, you lower the blade, then you draw a dagger from her waist, then turn and leave again. This leaves Chris dumbfounded. That's her family heirloom, her most precious possession. But Chris can only endure, silently noting this goblin spawn in her memory. Then she looks around. The most important thing now is to leave here first, though her abilities are somewhat weak, which is why she fell for the goblin's trick. But she's a top-tier thief. Without some life-saving skills, she wouldn't risk her life on missions. Since her body has recovered, she'll return to report the situation here to the guild. Then Chris's body slowly becomes transparent until it disappears. This is her life-saving skill, invisibility. At this moment, you have already quietly returned using Shadow Step, but the blade on you is too conspicuous. So you casually hide it under the bed, specifically for precaution. Without a handy weapon nearby, you can't feel at ease. Looking at your elf mother still sleeping, you sniff yourself. After confirming there's no bloody smell, you transform into Shadow, slipping into your mother's embrace, then falling into deep sleep. Seeing you've quieted, your elf mother slowly opens her eyes. Those sapphire-like eyes reflect a terrifying goblin spawn. Not under any spell, she only needs to slowly extend her hand to easily kill you. But she can't do it. If she could bring herself to do it, on the first night of your birth, she would have already strangled you in your cradle. After an internal struggle, your elf mother also falls into deep sleep. The next morning, you're awakened by shouting from a group of goblins. You slowly open your eyes. Your mother's exquisite face fills your vision. Resting on her lap, in babbling elf language, you haltingly call out mother, but then a tear slides down her cheek. You reach out to gently touch your mother's cheek, but are interrupted by a harsh voice. You frown, then turn to look, discovering 3 goblins standing outside the iron gate. They shout directly at you, brat. Did you kill your own kind again last night? But you ignore them, just glancing at your mother, preparing to get up and kill these annoying goblins. But your mother gently holds you down, then says gently, baby, if you're tired, sleep. Outside the iron gate, there's a one-eyed goblin. He's the one whose eye you blinded with a rock before. Seeing you ignore him, he says furiously, you damn brat, how dare you ignore me? You think this will protect your mother? Then the one-eyed goblin laughs loudly, saying viciously, your mother is about to reach her contribution period. Then she'll become everyone's toy. Before he can finish his arrogance, a small pebble suddenly grazes his cheek. So the one-eyed goblin sees those man-eating eyes. This enrages him. He quickly orders the door opened. He must kill this brat today. But at this moment, the goblin priest walks over, saying gravely, this matter has been investigated. It was done by a human female, but she's already escaped now. Rather than bullying a spawn here, you'd better go catch that female for me. After hearing this, the one-eyed goblin can only gnash his teeth in anger. If not for this old thing being so close to the commander, he wouldn't fear him. Watching the 3 departing goblins, the priest can't help but sigh. This candidate king causes too much trouble. Who knows what disasters he'll brew in the future? At this moment, the 3 departing goblins are full of schemes. One suddenly thinks of something, then says excitedly to the one-eyed goblin, in just a few days, the white-haired elf will be sent to the breeding chamber. Given that Spawn's personality, he'll definitely clash with the goblins there. Once he violates the commander's rules, we can eliminate him directly then. Hearing this, the one-eyed goblin's eyes light up. He vows to cripple you, this Spawn, then make you watch helplessly as the mother you protect is violated by them in turns. Then the group walks cheerfully toward the patrol room. That night, your relationship with your mother grows closer. You also learn for the first time that your mother's name is Victoria. At this moment, your elf mother teaches you the elf language repeatedly. Perhaps in her heart, she also hopes to leave here, return to the elf realm, and live there with you. Though she knows all this is impossible. But what if? Every day in this dark, foul-smelling den. If she doesn't even have this small wish, then she truly doesn't know how to go on living. Actually, you know your mother doesn't like it here. It's just those green-skinned monsters outside don't seem to want mother to leave. But as long as you kill them all, then you can leave, right? And goblins, no matter how many, will eventually be killed off. Soon several days pass. This day, your mother chews black bread as usual, while stroking your forehead, but the next second, you seem to sense something. Immediately slipping from your mother's embrace, instantly ready for battle. Almost simultaneously, footsteps sound outside. A group of goblins walks in from outside. Without saying more, it's clear, they've come to take away the last elf. The moment these goblins enter, Victoria's body trembles. Fear surges like a tide. The leading one-eyed goblin licks his lips, saying, your good days are over, boy. Why not follow and watch how we bully your mother? The one-eyed goblin's words immediately trigger laughter from other goblins. They hate you, this Spawn, to the bone. After all, many of the goblin spawns dead by your hand were their children. Though goblins don't value bloodline relations, that doesn't mean their children can be slaughtered like pigs. Hearing these filthy words, you, at this moment, are completely enraged. Actually, you can ignore insults toward yourself, but your mother is an absolute taboo, just as you prepare to act. Victoria holds you back, so you turn, looking at your mother with confusion. Victoria, on her face stiff with fear, forces out a smile. Wait here. Mother will be back soon. Hearing Victoria's words, the goblins laugh even louder. An old goblin says disdainfully, now you can be this calm. Soon I'll make you kneel and sing surrender. Hearing these filthy words, you angrily want to rush up and kill these monsters insulting your mother. But the old goblin is unconcerned, instead mocking. We're following the commander's orders now. If you dare interfere, don't blame us for disregarding kinship. The old goblin strikes the ground hard with his wooden staff, then continues seriously. Do you think you alone can oppose so many goblins and the entire den? At this moment, the one-eyed goblin also taunts gleefully. Don't worry, I'll definitely take good care of your mother. Facing everyone's provocation, you make no move, just letting them take Victoria away. Out of concern, Victoria glances back at you, then relaxes with relief. At least this way her child can survive. During these 3 months together, Victoria knows you're very close to her and obedient, basically doing whatever she asks. It's not even just closeness, but dependency. But among goblins, there seems to be no concept of mothers. But remembering your previous actions, she can't treat you as an ordinary goblin. Perhaps this is what they call a mutation, which just happened to her. Is it luck, or heaven's favor, sending you to save her? At this moment, Victoria is clearly terrified. As long as she speaks, her child will rush over recklessly to save her. But then the child will die, and you can't possibly escape, because in this den full of goblins, even legendary S-rank adventurers probably couldn't survive. If that's the case, as long as her child survives, she'll be satisfied. At this moment, a goblin seeing Victoria walking slowly, prepares to raise his hand to shove her, but just as he's about to touch her, that arm floats past Victoria's face, then falls straight to the ground. Then piercing screams echo through the entire cave. The goblin clutches his arm, his entire body curling up from intense pain. But the next moment, a blade flashes. A bloodline appears on the goblin's neck. At the same time, the system voice echoes in your mind, gained. Congratulations on killing a goblin. Based on the predation skill effect, you've gained 1 point of strength, but you ignore it, holding the dagger and saying coldly to everyone, "I won't allow you to take my mother." The old goblin beside them sees this and rages, immediately raising his staff, gathering magic within it, making it emit a faint glow. But just as his staff is about to descend, a blade flashes quickly. The hands holding the staff are instantly severed. The old goblin, frozen in shock, hasn't even felt the pain yet, when you've already reached above him, directly twisting his neck. Congratulations on killing an old goblin. Based on the predation skill effect, you've gained 1 point of magic and acquired the skill Flame Blast. The entire area falls silent. All goblins stare blankly at you. No one expected that in just an instant, you'd finish off 2 adult goblins, and one of them was a battle-hardened old goblin who could use magic. Then you slowly stand, saying coldly, "No one can take my mother from me." Seeing this, the one-eyed goblin wants to be angry, but suddenly laughs. You violated the commander's orders, killing your own kind. You think you can escape? Brothers, attack! Take down this arrogant spawn. Hearing the one-eyed goblin's command, the goblins behind swarm forward. At this moment in the one-eyed goblin's eyes, you're already dead. After all, you're just one. How could you match so many goblins? But the next second his jaw drops. As many goblins launch attacks at you, you actually retreat instead of advancing, disappearing directly into shadows. The goblins are shocked, beginning to search everywhere, but your physical abilities far exceed these adult goblins, especially in speed. They simply can't compare. Then a silver flash passes. A goblin's head rolls to the ground. Gradually, whenever your figure appears, it means an enemy's death. This makes the goblins, always known for cruelty, fear you, all wanting to leave this place. But when they retreat, death has already quietly approached. In just an instant, dozens of goblins present all perish at your hands. Then a powerful force surges from within you, so you step on goblin corpses, slowly closing your eyes, feeling the changes within and the continuous system voice. Congratulations on killing goblins. Based on the predation skill effect, you've gained 1 point of strength, 1 point of speed, 1 point of constitution. All attributes have reached this stage's limit. Congratulations on reaching the attribute limit at an unreasonable speed during the infant stage, gaining the special talent Limit Breaker. Hearing your attributes have reached the limit, you slowly open your eyes. You can indeed feel a barrier limiting your power, but you don't think much of it. Instead, turning your cold gaze to the last one-eyed goblin. Seeing this, he breaks into cold sweat. Why is this guy in spawn stage so powerful? This is absolutely impossible, but this terrifying pressure he's only felt from the commander before. Isn't he a low-level goblin? Why does he have the pressure only superiors possess? For a moment, the one-eyed goblin nearly wets himself. His innate instincts seem to tell him the spawn before him is unbeatable. Seeing this situation, the one-eyed goblin immediately pushes Victoria over, murmuring, returning her, "She's all yours." At this moment, Victoria is even more bewildered. When did her child become this powerful? Then you come to your mother's side, saying slowly in elf language, "Mother, wait a bit more. It'll be over soon." However, Victoria wants to hold you back. If you keep killing, there'll be no place for you in the goblin den anymore. If not even here, then people outside will even less likely accept her child. But your mother's actions don't stop you. Your mind right now is set on eliminating all these goblins. Then, with a shadow step, you arrive before the one-eyed goblin, seemingly feeling your overwhelming aura. He immediately kneels in fear, begging for mercy, abandoning any thought of fighting you. But such pleas have no effect on you. However, just as you're about to kill this goblin, a dark shadow suddenly appears, directly blocking your dagger. Judging from the force, his strength far exceeds yours, but you don't hesitate. After a brief clash using the recoil, you quickly distance yourselves. Right now, you don't plan to clash head-on, instead attempting to erase your presence, hiding in darkness. But in just moments, you're locked on by him. Indeed, this method won't work. This technique works on those brainless goblins, but has no effect on the enemy before you. Because once an assassin is discovered, it's hard to hide again. That's why one-hit kills are required. So you abandon hiding, tensing every cell, then look at the person before you. A goblin wearing armor and wielding a silver greatsword coldly examines you. Then he speaks first. "So you're the goblin spawn causing such a stir lately. Your strength is indeed impressive. Even I at your age probably couldn't match you. Looking at the entire den, only the commander in his youth could rival you. Turns out this is a higher species among goblins, a goblin knight." The one-eyed goblin, seeing who arrived, as if seeing his savior, rushes over crying and complaining about your atrocities. Before the one-eyed goblin finishes, his shadow behind him begins to arrive. Then you suddenly appear, stabbing your dagger toward his neck, but a silver longsword suddenly blocks between. The collision of two weapons makes a crisp sound. "You want to kill in front of me?" At this moment, the goblin knight narrows his eyes, tone extremely unfriendly. Even if the commander favors you, this is too arrogant. So, he grips his sword tightly, then swings forcefully. The next moment, you feel a terrifying force. Then you're sent flying, crashing into the wall behind. Seeing this, your mother immediately rushes forward, casting healing magic on you. However, after you recover and want to attack again, your mother holds you back. Then tearfully, she begs you not to fight anymore. After these months together, she already sees you as family. She immediately recognizes the newcomer's identity, the goblin commander's direct knight. His strength is simply not something you, a spawn, can match. Moreover, killing a higher species of goblin is a serious crime. She doesn't want you to have no place left in the den. Seeing your mother's urgent tears, your heart tightens. You extend blood-stained hands to wipe her tears. At this moment, the goblin knight says with a light laugh. As you are now, you simply can't defeat me. So while I still have patience, step away from that elf immediately. Today, she must go to the breeding chamber, no matter what, to birth new life for our race. However, before he finishes speaking, you've already reached behind him, immediately launching an attack. But facing your various moves, the Goblin Knight easily counters. He gradually discovers your strength is slowly increasing compared to before. Then he suddenly thinks of something, saying contemptuously to you, if you don't defeat me soon, I'll kill your mother. Hearing this, you declare furiously, then I'll kill you first. You say no more. Instead, you unleash a storm of deadly strikes, but he deflects them all with ease, and he keeps hurling insults at your mother. This drives you to attack faster and faster, like a madman, like a machine with no limits. Gradually, even the Goblin Knight can't help but marvel. This spawn is truly impressive, but no matter how talented you are, before these high-ranking goblins, you're nothing but an ant. This one-sided battle is about to end. Within a few breaths, the Goblin Knight finds your opening. He grips his silver longsword and thrusts it straight at your heart. Fortunately, you raise your dagger just in time, blocking the fatal strike. But the powerful recoil sends you flying backward. At the same moment, a blade flashes from your hand, but your target isn't the Goblin Knight. With a wet thud, when he turns to look, he discovers the one-eyed goblin behind him already has a dagger buried in his skull. Only then does the Goblin Knight realize your target never changed. All those attacks on him were just to draw his attention. However, this spawn managed to kill the one-eyed goblin right under his nose. With proper training, this one could have a bright future. But as he ponders this, a terrifying power erupts from within you. The Goblin Knight's composure shatters instantly. At this moment, the system voice echoes repeatedly in your mind. Congratulations on killing a goblin. Based on your skill predation, you gained 1 point of strength. Strength breakthrough, limit breakthrough initiated. Applying to lift juvenile stage restriction. Application failed. Application successful. Congratulations on evolving from juvenile stage to growth stage. Your stage cap has been raised. Due to your triple attribute limit breakthrough, your attributes are enhanced. A thunderous boom shakes the entire space. Around your body, arcs of lightning writhe like serpents, coursing wildly across your entire frame. The blinding white light forces everyone to shield their eyes. Within the lightning, a massive surge of magical power floods over you like a raging torrent, completely engulfing your body. Soon, under this magical force, your body undergoes an astonishing transformation. Your once small body seems infused with new life, growing taller at a visible rate. In mere moments, you reach 4 feet 7 inches. Your body lines become more refined, and your once hunched back now stands straight and strong. Though you've changed dramatically, you're still fundamentally a goblin. But those ugly features no longer seem so frightening. Instead, they've gained a charm uniquely yours. The Goblin Knight watching nearby turns pale with shock upon seeing your breakthrough to growth stage. Just breaking through to growth stage caused such a commotion. Other goblin spawns usually just sleep through it and wake up in growth stage. There's simply no comparison. Your upright posture fills the goblins present with envy. Lesser goblins can never straighten their backs, as they're hybrid products, not purebloods at all. But you look exactly like a high-ranking goblin. While everyone else stands puzzled, the Goblin Knight narrows his eyes, studying you carefully. Just as the Goblin Commander said, this spawn will stand as his equal in this nest. Even Victoria notices your evolution seems highly unusual. She even seems to see traces of the elf in you. Meanwhile, outside is a different scene entirely. Deafening thunder rolls across the sky. The sound is like an enraged beast roaring, shaking every creature on the ground. Dark clouds gather like spilled ink, painting the sky pitch black, as if foreshadowing some great event. The Goblin Commander, who noticed the anomaly long ago, raises his hand and a powerful aura explodes from within him, instantly suppressing the celestial phenomenon. The raging clouds and thunder suddenly seem to lose direction, swirling aimlessly in the air, growing weaker and weaker until they finally dissipate. As sunlight returns to the earth, it's as if nothing ever happened. But then, the Goblin Priest beside the Commander hesitates before speaking. Commander, that spawn caused such a disturbance. Other races will surely set their sights on us, especially with a human kingdom nearby. Should we relocate or have our goblins lie low? Too many humans have gone missing recently. Even the Adventurers Guild is mobilizing. Those humans called Goblin Slayers heard the commotion and are heading this way. The previously calm Goblin Commander's expression shifts noticeably at Goblin Slayers, as if recalling unpleasant memories. But the Goblin Priest continues. I heard the Elf Kingdom also dispatched a team led by pure-blooded elves, heading our way. The Goblin Priest intends to persuade the Commander to keep a lower profile until the King matures, as too many races are watching them. However, the Goblin Commander shakes his head, indicating everything should proceed normally. He then plans to visit the breeding chamber to see how far that spawn has developed. The Goblin Priest watches the Commander's retreating figure thoughtfully, unable to decipher his intentions. With a sigh, he too enters the nest. It seems I can't rely on the Commander alone. I must prepare as well. After all, everything is for the King. The scene shifts to the breeding chamber, where you've completed your transformation. Your appearance grows closer to human, perhaps because half your genes come from your elf mother. Your status panel shows significant changes. Not only did you evolve from juvenile to growth stage, your strength, speed, constitution, and magic all rose from a cap of 30 30 to 100. Looking at the various attributes, though you don't fully understand, one thing is clear. You've become much stronger. At this moment, some lesser goblin breaks the cave's silence. So what if you escaped the juvenile stage? You killed our comrades. The knight won't let you go. The knight reached growth stage years ago and is now on the verge of breaking through to mature stage. Hearing this, the lesser goblins regain their confidence. They begin clamoring for the goblin knight to kill this spawn who murdered their kin. Hearing their calls, the goblin knight waves them silent. High-ranking goblins still command great authority over lesser ones. Soon, the chorus of voices dies down. Though the goblin knight is shocked by your transformation, he maintains his composure outwardly, unwilling to lose face as a high-ranking goblin. He never imagined this lesser goblin spawn could evolve to such a degree. But so what? He's just a freshly evolved lesser goblin spawn. No match for me at all. But the instant the goblin knight loses himself in thought, a figure moves like a phantom, appearing before him in an instant. The goblin knight recoils in shock, disbelief filling his eyes, but it's too late to dodge. He can only raise both hands helplessly, trying to block the incoming attack. With a thunderous impact, the goblin knight flies backward like a sandbag before the stunned eyes of many goblins. How is this possible? This question echoes in the goblin knight's mind as he tumbles through the air. He can't believe that he, a high-ranking goblin, could be defeated so easily. This guy's strength and speed increased way too much. It's unbelievable. As the goblin knight crashes to the ground, your figure has already closed in silently. You're like a cheetah now, locked onto your prey, ready to deliver the killing blow. At this moment, the system voice echoes in your mind. You activated Limit Breaker. Strength and speed greatly increased. You then unleash your full power. The dagger slices through the air with a sharp whistling sound, aimed at the goblin knight's throat. But just as the dagger is about to reach its target, an invisible force suddenly blocks the blade, just inches from his neck. Your hand trembles, the dagger unable to advance even a fraction. What's going on? Alarm fills your mind, confusion flashing in your eyes. Then a commanding voice rings out. Everyone stop! Heavy footsteps accompany the voice. You slowly raise your head to see a towering figure, the goblin commander who rules this place. Seeing the commander's arrival, the lesser goblins erupt with joy, as if seeing their savior, crowding around him, each voicing complaints about your actions. One lesser goblin shouts excitedly, "Commander, you're finally here. This wretched spawn killed so many of our kin. He's a demon. You must bring him to justice. Execute this spawn who murdered his own kind." But the commander simply waves them silent. Almost simultaneously, a small figure appears slowly from behind the commander. After brief observation, you spotted a small opening in the goblin commander's defense. Without hesitation, you immediately use Shadow Step for a sneak attack. But just as the blade is about to reach its target, an invisible barrier materializes instantly, blocking the attack. Then a tremendous force hits, sending you flying backward, tumbling across the ground several times before stabilizing yourself. You look at the goblin commander, puzzled, because with your current strength, you should have a chance to kill him. But then you realize, if you have skills, the goblin commander surely does too. The opportunity has passed. You know that perfect moment won't come again. Only now do the other goblins realize that the spawn who just reached growth stage attempted to assassinate the commander who rules the entire nest. This is absolutely outrageous. The goblins immediately surround you, declaring in unison they'll kill you. But you show no fear, because small fries remain small fries no matter how many gather. Just as the lesser goblins are about to attack, the goblin commander suddenly stops them. He then orders the goblin priest to take you and your mother away, but you stay put, positioning yourself protectively in front of your mother. At this moment, your mother's warm hands pull you into a tight embrace, and she says gently, "Let's go, sweetheart. I'll be with you." Hearing your mother's words, you finally suppress your killing intent, take her hand, and follow the goblin priest to the second underground level. You're somewhat reluctant, even considering killing these goblins and escaping with your mother, but Victoria stops you, knowing that if you continue, you might get hurt or even killed. Though your talent is exceptional, it's also a threat. A goblin who doesn't follow orders, no matter how strong, is a ticking time bomb to them. Clearly, in the eyes of these goblins, that's exactly what you are. This makes Victoria question the goblin commander's true intentions. He seems excessively favorable toward you. Meanwhile, the lesser goblins in the nest all stare at the goblin commander in confusion. Though they've always held deep respect for this mighty commander, they're now filled with doubt and dissatisfaction about his decision. After all, that guy murdered their kin. How can he be let off so easily? One goblin voices his indignation. Such a menace should be eliminated now before he becomes a greater threat. The goblin knight standing nearby watches the commander closely, and seeing a slight nod, seems to understand something. He steps forward and roars at the goblins. "How dare you question the commander's orders?" This leaves the goblins baffled, not understanding why the goblin knight suddenly became so severe. One lesser goblin is about to speak, when a sharp blade flashes and his head separates from his body. This scene terrifies the goblins, who stumble backward. Then one goblin recovers, turning pleading eyes to the commander. But just as he's about to speak, the goblin knight cleaves him in half. The remaining goblins witness this, and can only scream in terror. They never understand why the goblin knight suddenly turned on them so viciously. They try to resist, but the gap in strength and rank leaves them powerless. They can't even grab their weapons before the goblin knight takes their lives. The surviving goblins can only place their hope in the commander, praying he'll stop this massacre. But the commander merely stands aside coldly, watching it all unfold. Before long, every goblin goblin in the room is slaughtered, the goblin knight finally lowers his weapon and bows. My lord, they've all been eliminated. The goblin commander merely nods slowly, as if everything went according to plan. His gaze shifts from the corpses to the goblin knight. At this moment, the goblin knight senses killing intent from the goblin commander but shows no fear or resistance. Instead, he asks considerately, should I take my own life in apology? Hearing this, the goblin commander lowers his guard, seemingly convinced of his loyalty. He orders the goblin knight to bury everything that happened here today. The goblin knight nods quickly, relieved that his answer was correct. The goblin knight can roughly guess what the commander wants to hide, especially your existence. Meanwhile, you and your elf mother are brought to a seemingly unremarkable cave. Though small, it radiates warmth. Inside are some simple, practical furniture pieces, and several soft animal hide mats. The goblin priest's voice breaks the silence. You'll live here from now on. His words carry unquestionable authority, yet also a measure of respect for you. The goblin priest continues. Since you've left the juvenile stage, you'll need to go out and contribute to the nest. He proceeds to explain various rules. But you're not listening at all, holding your mother's hand while your eyes wander. The goblin priest finds this somewhat exasperating, though he knows you just entered growth stage and need time to adapt. The nest's rules and discipline cannot be easily broken. Just as the goblin priest wonders what to do, inspiration strikes, he says with a sly expression. If you go out on patrol and hunt, you can bring back many good things for your mother. The goblin priest hopes this temptation will spark your interest in the outside world and make you participate more actively in nest life. After all, you're the future king. Hearing you can find things your mother likes, you nod without hesitation. The goblin priest finally breathes a sigh of relief. At least this will silence those lesser goblins. He just doesn't know what the commander truly wants, to so blatantly protect you and your mother. Is he afraid other goblins won't notice your uniqueness? After hesitating, the goblin priest says, in that case, join the patrol squad starting tomorrow. He gives you a meaningful look, then leaves. You and your elf mother, exhausted, cuddle together and drift into sleep. Time moves to the next morning. In a dim room filled with various weapons, some broken, others rusted. Each seems to hold untold stories. An experienced old goblin stands before the pile, having newly evolved goblins select suitable weapons. One goblin stares intently at a massive axe, eyes gleaming with desire. He eagerly steps forward to lift the axe, only to find he can't. Helplessly, he settles for second best, choosing the smaller axe beside it. Seeing this, a burly goblin can't help but laugh mockingly. He then steps forward, lifts the great axe easily, drawing praise from other goblins. Only you look around at these weapons with disappointment. Though there's variety, the quality is poor, like scavenged junk. Compared to your dagger Black Seaver, they're far inferior. Black Seaver was taken from that human female earlier. Since the blade is pitch black and perfect for assassination, you named it Black Seaver. You also discovered Black Seaver's sharpness is exceptional, making it your best weapon so far. You continue surveying the weapons, then choose several short-handled weapons without hesitation. You strapped several knives to your thighs and hang daggers at your waist. You considered taking a bow, but decided against it. The bows showed damage everywhere and would likely break after a few uses. Better to choose short weapons to use as throwing knives. You don't take the remaining weapons. They're too large for someone who specializes in assassination. Soon you discover guns in the corner. You pick one up and find the craftsmanship crude, even primitive. Checking the magazine, you find 3 bullets remaining. These goblins seem unaware of bullets' importance. Ordinary firearms are rather useless here, posing no threat to powerful creatures, but sniper rifles would be different. You look around but find none. Even if they existed, these goblins probably discarded them somewhere, not knowing the value of firearms. Then the old goblin warns you seriously, that's all you're taking. Those humans outside are cunning. You can take more weapons. Other goblins carry large blades or axes, while you only hold a small dagger. Seeing this, other goblins mock you. With that scrawny frame, if he takes too much and dies, we'll have to haul the weapons back. The goblins use this as an excuse to ridicule you freely. In truth, the goblins who knew of your killing spree were all silenced by the goblin knight. These goblins don't know your true strength, only that you killed many spawns. But killing spawns doesn't mean you can easily kill them. Besides, this is the nest. Killing your own kind here means being prepared to die. Seeing you don't respond, the goblins grow bolder. One even wants to teach you a lesson. But just as he enters your kill range, the old goblin steps forward to stop him. Infighting among kin is forbidden. Have you forgotten the commander's orders? Hearing this, the goblin backs off reluctantly, then sneers at you. Some goblins probably don't even consider us their kin. He leans close and snarls, you just wait. Once we're outside, you'll get what's coming. But his threats have no effect on you. The scene shifts to the forest's outer edge, where armored adventurers with weapons chase several goblins relentlessly. Their small stature and green skin look especially grotesque under moonlight. They flail wildly, shrieking shrilly as they flee with all their might. One adventurer swings his greatsword, slashing at a slower goblin, but the goblin dodges with a nimble roll, as if he had eyes in the back of his head. This squad hunting goblins is a silver adventurer team. Against low-level monsters like goblins, careful handling ensures no mistakes. These aren't green rookies, they're skilled at killing goblins. What they don't know is that ahead, goblins have set a trap to catch them all. Hidden in the grass is a green army of goblins. A small figure holds binoculars, watching the distant humans. humans. The goblin's face shows mockery and scorn, as if laughing at these humans' ignorance. Once they enter goblin territory, they won't leave this forest alive. Goblin Mang turns to his companions. Remember to keep the females. We'll have our fun before killing them. The goblins haven't even started, yet they're already dividing the spoils. Goblin Mang glances back at your silent figure, then says to the goblins, "How about we play with an elf when we get back?" At the mention of elf, every goblin's face twists into a wicked goblin. To any race, female elves are considered exquisitely beautiful. Before the elf queen arose, elves were traded as commodities by various races. Their universally appealing beauty meant female elves fetched extremely high prices. One can imagine how tempting elves are to these lesser goblins. But the goblins ask in confusion, "Where are there elves in our breeding chamber?" Goblin Mang says, "There aren't any in the breeding chamber, but that doesn't mean there aren't any elsewhere. At that guy's place, there seems to be one." Instantly, the goblins turn jealous and greedy eyes toward you. Goblin Mang looks smug, thinking, "Let's see what you do now. If you charge over, you'll fall right into his trap. As long as you dare make a move out here, he can rally the nearby goblins to kill you together, then share that elf among them." At this moment, one goblin can no longer contain his desire and licks his dry lips, about to say something to you when a sharp blade flashes through the air. The goblin doesn't even have time to scream before collapsing. Seeing this, the surrounding goblins demand to know why you killed your own kind. Goblin Mang is overjoyed at this sight. He immediately steps forward, feigning righteous indignation, pointing at you and shouting, "Killing your comrades is a grave offense. How could you do this?" But you merely cast him a cold glance, then fix your gaze on those goblins who harbor ill intentions toward your mother. "Since you like elves so much, I'll send you down there to reunite with other elves." Seeing your cold expression, Goblin Mang seethes with rage. He thought standing on the moral high ground would let him use this chance to destroy you, but he never expected you to be so arrogant, completely disregarding him. He says, "Do you really think we won't dare kill you just because the commander protects you? This is outside, not your safe little nest." But before his words even finish, you move, becoming a blur as you charge forward. A goblin doesn't even have time to cry out before a sharp blade pierces straight through his heart. You speak coldly again. "Anyone else want to try?" Seeing this, Goblin Mang's lips curl into a triumphant smile. He then shouts loudly, "Attack! Kill him!" The surrounding goblins respond, their eyes filled with ferocity, wielding swords, axes, and various weapons, charging at you. Facing their attacks, you're already accustomed. You dodge skillfully while swiftly counterattacking. Then your figure flashes and vanishes from the spot. After this maneuver, the goblins are stunned. They look around frantically, trying to find you. But at this moment, sharp pain strikes several goblins from behind. They turn in shock, only to see you somehow. Already behind them, your dagger buried deep in their bodies. As goblins keep falling, the system voice echoes repeatedly in your ears. "Congratulations on killing a goblin. Based on your skill predation, you gained 1 point of strength, 1 point of speed, 1 point of constitution." Shrill screams ring out, blood quickly staining the ground. Yet even amid this slaughter, the goblins still can't find the terrifying figure haunting them. Goblin Mang watches his companions fall, filled with panic and despair. Can a lesser goblin really do this? Why is the gap between them so vast? Finally, unable to bear the pressure, Goblin Mang drops to his knees, wailing apologies to you wherever you are, but he kneels and waits, receiving no response. Just as Goblin Mang thinks you've spared him and begins planning how to report this to the commander, a blade flashes. He doesn't even see who struck, and his hideous, lewd expression freezes forever on that green face. "Congratulations on killing a goblin. Based on your skill predation, you gained 1 point of strength and acquired this goblin's talent speed boost." Shortly after killing Goblin Mang, approaching footsteps sound nearby. The adventurers who were chasing goblins, but the scene before them freezes them in shock. Ahead stands a small, strangely featured creature atop a pile of goblin corpses. Though his face resembles a human's, those long green ears clearly mark him as a goblin. The adventurer squad members feel inexplicable fear at this bizarre sight. A priestess in the group speaks. Something's off about this goblin, but Captain Kaido interrupts. "What are you afraid of? It's just a goblin." He then looks at the goblin corpses, his face lighting up with excitement. Captain Kaido says to his team, "Look at those goblin corpses. Their green ears are still fresh. These could fetch loads of gold coins at the market." Captain Kaido licks his lips after speaking, as if already seeing those glittering gold coins. He decides to kill you first, then process the goblin remains with his team for a nice profit. Captain Kaido walks toward you without hesitation. The other members exchange helpless glances. Since the captain has decided what can they do, at least there's only one goblin left, so there's no need to be cautious. Could a single goblin possibly wipe them out? They're silver adventurers, after all. They've hunted countless goblins and even participated in Calamity-class beast subjugations. With this mindset, They follow along. Captain Kaido now stands before you, against such a disgusting low-level monster. As captain, he can show off his strength to his team. He launches a full power strike. "You disgusting monster, today is your end!" Captain Kaido's rough voice echoes through the quiet forest. His greatsword swings down straight at you. But just as the blade is about to touch you, something miraculous happens. Your entire body seems shrouded in darkness, merging into the forest's shadows in an instant. Captain Kaido's blade strikes nothing but air, passing through without resistance. This is your skill shadow step. Once activated, you become invisible. All physical attacks during this state become completely ineffective. Captain Kaido senses trouble immediately. A lesser goblin has such an advanced skill. At this moment, you appear behind him, your sharp dagger, already silently aimed at his neck. This icy chill makes Captain Kaido's heart clench. It's too late to turn and dodge. At this critical moment, two voices ring out behind him. Holy barrier! Flame blast! A faint light barrier suddenly appears before Captain Kaido, blocking your dagger attack. Immediately after, a blazing fireball roars toward you, but your expression remains calm. You step on Captain Kaido's back and leap into the air, instantly creating distance from them. You immediately use Shadow Step again, merging back into darkness. After this encounter, Kaido thanks his teammates repeatedly. "Without your help, I'd be dead." He wastes no more time, positioning himself at the front as the tank. They move carefully while observing their surroundings closely. After that brief exchange, Captain Kaido realizes this goblin is a special individual. They've encountered goblins with skills before, but never one who uses them so masterfully. This is a first. After all, goblins are low-level monsters by nature, cunning but with low intelligence. You alone are an exception. Thinking this, Captain Kaido scans the area alertly, sensing unknown danger approaching. His teammates also look around, trying to find the vanished goblin. No matter how they search, they can't find you. The mage girl in the group says you might still be nearby, and she'll use magic to detect you. She grips her staff, preparing to cast detection magic to locate you. But just as she's about to cast, a sinister black shadow suddenly appears behind her. Then a lightning-fast slash strikes the mage girl. At this moment, a team member named Eli senses something wrong. When he turns to look, he sees the mage girl's body frozen in place, face filled with shock and terror. Eli, puzzled, is about to place a hand on her shoulder when a round head thuds heavily to the ground. Seeing this, Eli's eyes widen in terror. He's never witnessed such a gruesome scene. At this moment, nearby teammates also notice the abnormality. They turn to look and witness this brutal scene. They can't believe a living person vanished in just an instant. Captain Kaido roars upon seeing this. "Damn goblin!" His magical power erupts instantly, forming a powerful vortex that scatters everything around. The priestess rushes forward to calm him. "Stay calm. That's how you can lead us to survive." But Captain Kaido has lost himself to rage. His magical barrier actually blocks her out. The priestess can only cast spells, trying to protect the captain with holy light. But as she raises her staff, death descends. A black shadow appears behind the priestess. A sharp slash instantly claims her life. Sensing something, Eli and Captain Kaido turn simultaneously, only to witness the priestess's dying moment. Shock and grief fill their hearts once more. They can't believe this is all really happening. His teammates' consecutive deaths push Captain Kaido beyond endurance. His eyes bloodshot. He roars in fury, "Come out! You damn monster, I'll kill you!" Only silence answers. He knows his two companions died because of his stubbornness. If he hadn't insisted on entering this dangerous place, they wouldn't have died. Captain Kaido can't understand how things turned out this way. Was he really wrong? As he wallows in grief, a blade flashes again. At this moment, Eli musters courage to urge the captain to calm down. But when he looks up, he sees a shocking sight. On Captain Kaido's neck, at some point, a red line has appeared. Eli's eyes widen in horror. He knows what this line means: the mark of death. At this moment, Eli completely loses his composure and abandons his companions' corpses without hesitation. Fleeing toward the forest's edge, he mutters as she runs, "What kind of goblin is that? That's not a goblin at all. That's a monster. A cold-blooded, heartless monster." Eli's desperate screams echo through the forest. As the protagonist, you're contemplating whether to kill this last human. After hesitating briefly, you ultimately decide to send him to reunite with his companions. Poor Eli continues his desperate flight, making his last struggle, but is still precisely cleaved by a blade as his head falls. The familiar system voice echoes in your mind once more. "Congratulations on killing a human. You gained 1 point of strength. Based on your skill predation, you acquired this human's skill constitution boost. You hang upside down from a tree, gazing at the corpses below. These humans were so strong, yet so easily swayed by emotions. If you faced them head on, you'd have no chance of winning. Any one of them could have killed you easily. Unfortunately for them, you were a top assassin in your previous life, and never engage anyone head on without absolute certainty. You hadn't planned to kill them, but they showed killing intent from the first glance. Since they came with intent to kill, being killed in return is only natural. You jump down from the tree and begin looting. Soon, the human's belongings are packed into a bag. This haul is quite rich. Mother will surely be happy. As for the goblin's possessions, nothing interests you. You shoulder the bag and head toward the nest. But the blood scent on you attracts greedy wolf packs. Their eyes gleam with menace, drool dripping, viewing you as a delicious meal. But to you, these wolves are just a minor inconvenience, easily dealt with. Before long, you return to the goblin nest. At the entrance, a group of of short goblins busily stand guard. Some hold spears, others carry great axes, but all their eyes reveal ferocity and cunning. Among them, some goblins line up to submit supplies. The high-ranking goblins called goblin chiefs register their scavenged goods. Though these goblin chiefs look similar to lesser goblins, their intelligence matches humans, and they even know basic mathematics. This basic math is more than sufficient for the goblin nest. Therefore, all goblin chiefs handle various management tasks. As squads of goblins return from hunts, the nest entrance grows lively. Some goblins have one or two women following behind, dragged along like prey. Among this crowd, you carrying a huge bag immediately draws the goblins' attention. Seeing you alone, without captured human females or companions, only a heavy bag, they cast strange looks your way. Some puzzled, some curious, most disgusted. They speculate you were abandoned by your companions, forced to return alone with supplies to report. Some goblins recognize you as the one who killed their kin. Their looks of disgust intensify. You ignore these goblins entirely, eager to return to your elf mother. Just as you're about to enter the nest, a goblin chief calls out to you. You plan to ignore him, but guards block your way. You furrow your brow slightly, turn back, and see his angry gaze. Goblin Chief Dong raises his staff, intending to make an example of you, but a terrifying killing intent instantly engulfs him, shocking Goblin Chief Dong. You prepare for battle, ready to take his head if he moves. Your cold killing intent frightens Goblin Chief Dong into lowering his staff. Then he says, trying to appear calm, "You wouldn't dare kill me, would you?" But you completely ignore him, merely fixing him with an icy stare. This terrifies Goblin Chief Dong into complete silence. But just because he's scared doesn't mean others are. Nearby goblins soon speak up. Goblin Chief Dong, don't fear this kid. Teach him a lesson. Show him his place. But Goblin Chief Dong, unnerved by your stare, just wants to silence these instigators. Easy for you to say. If it were you, you'd be scared witless. Moreover, Goblin Chief Dong just sensed from you a supreme bloodline suppression from deep within. But he's a high-ranking goblin. Only the goblin commander and commander breed can exert such pressure on him. But you're just a lesser goblin. How could you be commander breed? He must be mistaken. You merely glance at Goblin Chief Dong and say if there's nothing else, you'll be going. But after just a few steps, he calls you back again. This time, his tone is somewhat weaker. You can enter the nest, but you must submit part of your collected spoils. Goblin Chief Dong doesn't want to conflict with this terrifying goblin. But these are nest rules. He can't let you break precedent, or he'll be punished. Hearing this, your brow furrows, but your grip on the bag doesn't loosen at all. Seeing this, nearby goblins can't hold back. They say to you, goblin spoils belong to the entire nest, not for you alone to hoard. Goblin Chief Dong, having witnessed your power, doesn't dare anger you, and can only take a deep breath and say slowly, you should know all goblins must submit their spoils. No exceptions. But you remain unmoved. This angers Goblin Chief Dong. This kid is outrageously bold, trying to keep even the nest's share. No matter how capable you are, you can't break this precedent, and the entire nest stands behind him. Emboldened by this thought, Goblin Chief Dong hardens his stance. He orders you to immediately summon all the goblins who went out with you. He wants to see just how bold they are to hoard what belongs to the nest. But you say lightly, they're all dead. Hearing this, all the goblins' jaws drop. Seeing you unharmed, they think that if you encountered some powerful being, total annihilation would be understandable. But with only one survivor, returning unharmed with spoils, it seems highly suspicious. Even goblins can figure out the reason you must have killed those goblins first, then taken the loot. Unwilling to accept this, Goblin Chief Dong probes again. How did they die? And how did you survive? He clings to a sliver of hope, convinced you couldn't be that capable. But the next second you say, because I'm stronger than them, so they died. Want to try me yourselves? Catching your meaning, Goblin Chief Dong trembles with rage. You're too arrogant. I'll report you to the Goblin Commander and have you severely punished. You must have collaborated with humans. Otherwise, why are you the only survivor? But you're too lazy to argue, merely casting a cold glance at everyone, wanting to leave and return to your elf mother. But Goblin Chief Dong and a group of goblins block your path. Today you must come with me to see the commander. At this point, their obstruction exhausts your patience. So your hand moves toward your dagger, ready to kill them at any moment. Feeling your killing intent, Goblin Chief Dong stumbles back several steps. He immediately shouts to the goblins behind him, "Attack now!" This goblin defies the nest. Seize him immediately. Hearing this, the other goblins immediately surround you, preparing to capture you. Seeing this, your expression turns cold. You draw your dagger, ready to go on a killing spree. But a sharp voice suddenly rings out. Everyone stop! The goblin priest arrives after hearing the commotion. Goblin Chief Dong quickly speaks. "Priest, sir, this one murdered his own kind and tried to hoard supplies." But before he finishes, the priest cuts him off. "I'll handle this. It's not your concern." To everyone's surprise, the priest simply lets you go. Goblin Chief Dong looks very unwilling. The priest says to him, "I know you worry about betrayal, but would other races easily accept us goblins?" Hearing this explanation, Goblin Chief Dong finally understands. The priest continues his instructions. "From now on, I'll handle that one's matters." Though he doesn't doesn't seek special treatment in your current state, it's unwise to interact with other goblins. It would only lead to more deaths. The priest finishes speaking and leaves, ignoring Goblin Chief Dong's thoughts. The scene shifts to the nest, where Victoria stares at your bag in horror. The bag is stained red with blood, looking shockingly gruesome. Victoria asks with a trembling voice, "Did you kill people?" You nod, then say, "I killed lots and lots of people. Am I amazing, mother?" You raise your blood-stained dagger, seemingly eager for your mother's praise, but seeing your bright smile, Victoria feels indescribable complex emotions. She finally realizes that no matter how obedient, her child is ultimately a goblin. Seeing your mother's vacant eyes, you reach out to comfort her, but she pushes you away, leaving you stunned. Victoria's brow furrows, her sapphire eyes flashing with angry fire. Her emotions are extremely unstable. You clearly remember mother looking at you this way when you were first born. That gaze, full of complex emotions, remains unforgettable. But why does mother look at you this way? Confusion and unease fill your heart. Did you do something wrong? You try hard to recall your recent actions, but find no reason for mother's anger. Could this be mother's way of showing love? Thinking this, your mood instantly brightens, the gloomy atmosphere clearing. Since mother likes this approach, I'll satisfy her. When I see people who upset mother, I'll kill them, then present their corpses to mother. That will surely make her happy. This idea fills you with unprecedented excitement. Victoria watches your shifting moods, never understanding what her child is thinking. As you open the bag, Victoria sees the equipment belonging to human adventurers. She knows these belonged to the squad led by Kaido. Though she met them once before, she can't accept this reality. A silver squad, while not elite among humans, is certainly not weak. Their captain even possessed mature stage strength. Yet this very squad was completely wiped out by you just months old. Your current strength is clearly formidable. Seeing mother staring at the bag's contents, you simply dump everything out, like a child wanting to show off achievements. You point proudly at the items. These are all for mother. Take whatever you like. But Victoria can't smile seeing your innocent expression. Then a crisp sound breaks this warm atmosphere. A small golden object rolls from the scattered items to Victoria's feet. She looks down and freezes. It's an exquisite pocket watch gleaming in the moonlight. She knows this watch belonged to the priestess, as only priests have the custom of carrying pocket watches. After hesitating, Victoria picks up the watch. She gently opens it, revealing a yellowed photograph inside. Two girls in the photo. Both wear bright smiles. Seeing the photo clearly, Victoria trembles and murmurs, "Is it my fault? Is it all my fault?" Seeing mother suddenly cry, you panic, rushing to her side to wipe her tears with small hands. Victoria says in a choked voice, "Why did you kill them?" You scratch your head and answer with confusion, "Because they wanted to kill me."